Earlier this year, I felt like a complete nobody. So one night, I randomly decided, let me download Blender. So I did, along with this official Thomas 3D model to mess around with. Wait, official Thomas model? Yes, that's right. Believe it or not, this is the official Thomas model that was used from Hero of the Rails all the way till the end of the CGI era with Season 24. This model did receive a few modifications later on, but at its core, it's still the same model. And if you didn't know, Maya is the software Nitrogen, Arc, and Jamfield all use to animate the CGI series. The original file for this model wasn't compatible with Blender, as, based on my research, Maya has its own specific file type that isn't supported on Blender. However, the Stickmeister took the original Maya file and converted it into a Blender file for anyone to use. So huge shout out to them for providing this to the community. I would also like to mention that the exact origins of how this model leaked are a complete mystery to me. So if you have any info on that, please let me know in the comments, cause I'm genuinely curious. Now, my knowledge on Blender was basically next to nothing. The only time I had ever tried to create anything using 3D animation was back in high school during an animation class, where this was the most me and my IRL friend could do, cause we didn't know what the hell we were doing. So with my first attempt in a long while, I tried to go in as blind as I possibly could to try and see if I was smart enough to figure things out on my own. That definitely wasn't the case, and my impatient self really didn't want to go through long tutorials, so I just kept messing around with the software myself. One of the things I remember getting stuck on was trying to figure out how to rotate the wheels so I could start setting keyframes for the animation. But the thing is, I kept trying to use the R key to rotate them, and they would just do this. After figuring out how to rotate the wheels properly, I finally got Thomas in motion. But there was a problem. He wasn't on any rails. And you'd probably assume I went and downloaded a 3D model of some track, which was what I was going to do at first. But then I just ultimately decided to make my own rails from scratch, cause why the hell not? You can tell I made this because of how messed up the proportions are, as well as the lack of texturing, which I honestly still don't even know how to do. After I got a section done, I just copied and pasted it over and over to make a decent stretch of track for Thomas to run on. One thing I was trying to experiment with was animating his face. I didn't get to do much with that in this animation, cause I got his mouth animated to say hi. But at some point, I guess I screwed something up somewhere, and I couldn't get his eyes to move properly, despite doing it while screwing around in the beginning. After that was complete, I worked on getting the camera to move with Thomas for a bit. And that was surprisingly easy, as it just involved moving the location of the camera and setting keyframes. Rendering was another issue, cause it took forever to try and get this short animation out. So whenever I had time, I would render a shorter clip of it through the span of a couple days, and then I stitched everything together during editing. After I completed that first one, I took a little break from Thomas and I started working with some FNAF stuff, which I didn't do much with because it was a bit more complicated, so I just ended up coming back to Thomas anyways. This time, I wanted to work a bit more with having a basic environment for a short scene, so I downloaded this Tidmouth Sheds model and I started to work on Thomas. This time, it was going a lot more smoothly. To push my skills further, I wanted to try and animate his face again, as well as adding a bit more movement to his body, like they did in the show. I'm pretty sure I started off with his front coupling by giving it this swaying motion and then moving on to his body afterward. When I accomplished those, I worked on getting his face animated. Here I managed to get his eyes moving and blinking, as well as getting his mouth to open and close. I know it may not seem like much to any experts watching this, but I was pretty proud of this. After I was done animating Thomas, I added some lighting and I decided to go look for some ballast and sky textures, as it was just an empty void up to this point. As you can see right now though, it's all purple cause I guess I deleted those images off of my computer, but at the time, they were there. And that's where I ran into another issue, where I was rendering a short snippet of the scene to see how it looked, and the images weren't showing up. It took me a bit of research and digging through the settings to figure out how to fix it, but I managed to make it work. Instead of rendering smaller snippets of the scene this time around, I decided to render the full thing at once and hope for the best. And I kid you not, I started rendering this around midnight, I went to bed, went to work, did some other things, and almost 24 hours later, it was still rendering. It didn't have much time left at least, and when it was done, the final product was pretty decent in my opinion. After that, my Blender journey came to an end, so I did a whole lot of nothing for a couple months, and then I started this channel. All jokes aside, I haven't done much else with it since then, mainly due to time, and not having the skills to create my own models. I've seen some pretty cool work by people like Jay, where they adapted a scene from Oliver Owns Up in a CGI style, which I think is really amazing and makes me want to get into 3D animation a lot more. But for now, I still have a lot to learn. I know this was a different kind of video, and I'll be returning to my usual type of content soon, but I hope you all still enjoyed regardless. And if there are any other cool Thomas animations you think I should watch, let me know in the comments, cause I'm interested in checking those out too. But anyways, thank you for watching this video and for all your support, and I'll see you soon.